everybody, and welcome back to the channel for this week's Toolbox safety topic video. Before we get started, make sure that you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you will find additional videos of this nature, other safety related videos, and leadership training videos. And if you find this information useful or helpful, make sure you share it with your colleagues and co-workers. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the Toolbox safety topic video. Now, this is the third in the series on the OSHA Focus 4, and today we'll be talking about struck by incidents. And once again, I got this from the Raking app, the Raking Construction app, and they have a section in their software that has Toolbox safety topics in it. Look them up, they might be worth your while. A construction site is a dangerous place for an individual. Most sites have flying debris, moving equipment, falling objects, and large tools. It's easy to see why. When you are working on a construction site, it is important for you as a worker to know the dangers and hazards that come with the work and make yourself aware of how to prevent injuries. OSHA has determined that there are 4 main safety hazards that account for a majority of all construction workers' death each year on the job site. These are often dubbed the Fatal 4 by OSHA, and they include falls, electrocutions, being struck by objects, and getting caught in or between hazards. Today we're focusing on struck by hazards and how to prevent and protect against them. Of the Fatal 4 hazards, struck by hazards are the second highest cause of fatalities among construction workers. Let's talk about struck by incidents. A struck by incident occurs when a worker comes into forcible contact with a flying, falling, swinging, or rolling object. Struck by incidents pose a great risk to ground personnel on any construction site. These accidents were responsible for 8.1% of all construction site fatalities in the year 2014. There are many struck by hazards on a construction site that can injure or kill workers at any given time. Some common struck by hazards can include moving equipment, falling objects, and flying debris. There are 4 common types of struck by hazards in the construction field. These include struck by flying objects, struck by falling objects, struck by swinging objects, and struck by rolling objects. We will look at each of these closer and ways to prevent an injury from happening. First, let's talk about struck by flying object hazards. An injury by a flying object can happen in several ways. A flying object hazard exists when something has been thrown, hurled, or is even propelled across a room. It can also include a piece of material separates from a tool, machine, or piece of equipment striking a worker and causing injury or even a fatality. Examples of a struck by flying object can include being struck by tools that have been thrown, debris that have been thrown, accidental nail gun discharges, or even a tip off a flying saw blade as you're using it. Nail gun discharges are one of the most common struck by flying object hazards on the construction site. Workers should always steer clear of the line of sight when they see a nail gun being used. This can include workers who might be working on the opposite side of the wall. Misfires can have enough force that they can penetrate plywood and gypsum board and strike workers on the opposite side. Now let's talk about struck by falling object hazards. An injury can occur from a struck by falling object very easily. This can include materials being knocked off edges that are not protected, a suspended load on a crane coming loose and falling, or even tools falling off an upper level. Workers should avoid area where work is being performed over their heads, and they should also never position themselves under a suspended load on a crane. Tools and materials should always be secured when you are performing overhead work by using toe boards or screens. This can prevent the objects and debris from falling. Workers should also never throw or drop any tool or object that could potentially cause a struck-by injury. Let's talk about struck by a swinging object. A struck-by swinging object often happens when materials are being mechanically lifted and something causes the load to sway and fall. High winds are one of the reasons a load could be swaying. To avoid these types of injuries, a worker should never stand inside the swing radius of heavy equipment, such as a crane. Workers should always stand outside the swing radius and verify the heavy equipment operator can see them at all times. And then let's talk about struck by a rolling object hazard. An injury that is caused by a rolling object typically involves a worker and a piece of heavy equipment or vehicle. A worker can be struck by any object that is in motion. This includes things that roll, move, or slide on the same level as the worker. Workers can avoid these by staying clear of any vehicle or heavy machines that are in use. It's important to remember that equipment operators have very limited visibility when they are in reverse. Workers have to be aware of what's going on around them and make sure they avoid areas where heavy machines are being used. It is also important that the operator of the equipment is properly trained to avoid creating struck-by accidents. These injuries are often caused by workers not paying attention or operators that are not properly trained. Let's talk about prevention. Prevention is the key to not having injuries on the job site. Some general things you can do to prevent struck-by injuries include wearing personal protective equipment such as steel toes and hard hats. Workers should only use equipment that they are properly trained to use. Workers should make sure all safety devices on equipment are in good working order before they use them. Never obstruct views by overloading equipment. Use extra caution with machinery around corners and doorways. Secure and neatly store loose materials. Store heavy objects close to the floor. Secure all loads and lift them evenly. Never throw materials or tools. Use debris nets, catch platforms, or canopies to catch or deflect falling objects. Do not work under loads that have been lifted and always keep a safe distance. Do not exceed the lifting capacity of cranes and hoists. Inspect all tools to ensure protective guards are in good condition. Now, construction sites are full of many hazards for the workers and the visitors on the site. Some of these injuries can easily be avoided by workers just paying more attention and by following some simple safety precautions. Struck-by incidents are difficult to eliminate, but proper planning can help reduce exposure to these risks. If you see any hazards on the job site, make sure you let your foreman know immediately. If you do get injured, let your supervisor know as soon as possible, and if needed, get the proper medical attention. All right, boys and girls, that's it for this week's Toolbox Safety Topic video. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for watching. Make sure that you give me a thumbs up down below here to encourage me to make more videos of this type. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you will find additional videos of this nature, other safety-related videos, and leadership training videos. And if you found this information useful or helpful, make sure you share it with your colleagues and coworkers. And until we see each other again, take care of yourself because you're number one. Look out for your coworkers and help ensure their safety. Have a grateful day. And remember, I will see you in the field. All right, flubber-dubbed that one away. I can't tell if I'm in focus or not. I'm going to run it anyway. The focus for the fatal four defined by OSHA include the things that we've already covered, and that's falls, caught in or between, and this video is struck by hazards. And the final one will be electrocution, and we'll do that on the next video. Now, listen, remember you can use these videos for training on your job site. Just follow a couple things. Make sure you have a sign-in sheet, date it, reference the video that you watch, be it this one. I've got several others, or there are other people out there who put out these videos. Let your team members watch the video, have a discussion about it, have them sign off signifying that they watched the video and that you had discussion with it, and that becomes a document that you can provide to OSHA to prove that you do regular training on hazard recognition and hazard mitigation for your team, on your job site, and for your company. One other thing, if there's a specific video, some topic that you would like to see me address, make sure drop me a line and I'll do that. I'll put together something on it. Or if you have a question, you can ask me directly in the comments below. Anyway, if you watch to the end, I've been putting in these Easter eggs for quite a while now, and it's something that I enjoy doing. Take a look at them, and I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a grateful day, and I will see you in the field. Stop recording.